we're still on the subject of big banking. We've got Mark Carney, Mark Carnage, that Mike Robinson likes to call him. What's he been up to?
More carnage, one might say, gentlemen. The former Bank of England and the former Bank of Canada boss is now heading the Bloomberg board. So this is where banking meets news. Although Bloomberg is financial news in part, banker becomes newsman in a sense in terms of being on the Bloomberg editorial board. And there's not much one needs to say about that. It almost speaks for itself. Mr. Carney has previously worked with Mr. Bloomberg on climate-related projects. That's Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York and head of a lot of mayors' climate change groups. So on and so forth. Mr. Carney is expected to continue in his role as chairman of the Canadian investment firm Brookfield Asset Management. Brookfield did not immediately comment to a BBC request for comment. This is a BBC piece we're reading from. Mr. Carney, who currently serves as United Nations Special Envoy on Climate Action and Finance, became governor of the Bank of England in July 2013 and stood down from that role in March 2020. Before that, he was governor of his home country's central bank, the Bank of Canada. And a significant part of this is that other headline that he's been linked to a firm getting into deforestation. Now, that's really naughty of Mr. Carney and very contradictory. Now, this is from a pro-climate change group, globalwitness.org. And it's still interesting to read, to get an objective read on this. Our goal is a more sustainable and just and equal planet. We want forests and biodiversity to thrive, fossil fuels to stay in the ground, and corporations to prioritize the interest of people and the planet. A Canadian asset manager, part run by green finance champion Mark Carney, cleared thousands of football fields worth of tropical forest in Brazil. Our investigation can reveal, from globalwitness.org, an estimated 9,000 hectares of deforestation, the legality of which could not be proven by Brookfield Asset Management, took place on 8 farms owned and managed by Brookfield's soybean farming empire. So basically what they're saying is the pro-climate change guru, Mark Carney, has evidently been involved in deforestation. And of course, forests are a sink to take carbon out of the atmosphere. And this is the last part of this. There will be industries. We're quoting Mr. Carney, the former head of the Banks of England and Canada. This is back in 2019. This backdrop really spells out his hypocrisy. There will be industries, sectors, and firms that do very well during this process fighting climate change because they'll be part of the solution. But there will be also businesses and corporations that lag behind, and they will be punished. He kind of means punished by the market, but of course, this is not market forces. This is forced markets. And companies that don't adapt to climate change will go bankrupt without question. So there's more to be looked at here, but it's fairly clear that he has at least been involved with firms that advocate deforestation, which directly contradicts, Brian, the mantra of the climate change fighters. So that's enough for now. I'll have a little bit more probably on this in extra.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much for that. Well, I'm just going to add very, very quickly here that, of course, if we look into banks, we're finding fraud and corruption. So let's look at this one, another Guardian article. We seem to be having a Guardian day today, but it's talking about Goldman Sachs trader found guilty of mortgage fraud. That was a cool $1 billion. That was reported back in 2013. This is Barclays boss, Bob Diamond, to quit after interest rate fix. That was Barclays cheating millions of customers. And this one really caught my attention from 2012 from UK Column Report. Strategic combination of Barclays African operations with Absa. Bringing together Barclays Africa with Absa is an important step in furthering our, quote, one bank in Africa strategy, unquote, and the goal to become the go-to bank across the continent. So don't worry, trust us, the banks. We're going to manage all of the money in Africa, and I'm sure everybody will be well fed and cared for as they do it. Let's come back to you, Mark, because of course,